Good morning, students. Welcome in this class. This is class 8, subject Social Science, Geography, chapter 3, Minerals and Power Resources. It is the fourth lecture of this chapter, and in today's lecture, the chapter will be summarized. So, students, in today's lecture, the topics which are to be recalled are like these. First, definition of minerals, types of resources, extraction of minerals, uses of minerals, conservation of minerals, and power resources. So let's we start today's discussion. Yes, first minerals. As we have studied that minerals are naturally occurring substances which have a definite chemical and physical compositions. And like other natural resources, minerals are not equally distributed on the earth's surface. On the earth's surface, some areas are there where there is a great deposit of minerals, and on the other side, some places are there where there is no or very less amount of minerals are presented. And these minerals are created by natural process, means these minerals are given us by the nature as a gift, and the human beings do not play any role in the formation of these natural resources or minerals. And these minerals are of two types. Yes, metallic minerals and non-metallic minerals. Metallic minerals means the minerals which contain metal, and non-metallic minerals, the minerals which do not contain metal. So the metallic minerals are hard substances, and due to the presence of metal means they have luster or shine, and non-metallic minerals, due to the absence of metal, they are not too hard like metallic, and they do not have luster or shine also. Metallic minerals are further classified into two categories: ferrous and non-ferrous. Ferrous metallic minerals are the minerals which contain or which have iron, and non-ferrous in which no iron is there. So these are non-ferrous. Example of ferrous iron ore, non-ferrous like gold, silver. These are the example of non-ferrous metal. So understood then, minerals are of two types, metallic and non-metallic. Now we will have a discussion on the extraction of minerals. Yes, extraction means the taking out way, means the way of taking out minerals from the mines. So there are three types of extraction processes. First is mining, second is drilling, and third one is quarrying. Yes, mining is the process of taking out minerals from the earth's surface. Okay, and digging is the process in which the minerals are taken out by digging or making a deep hole inside the earth. Okay, and third one is quarrying, means the process of taking out minerals which are presented near the surface, or you can say in on the upper layer of the earth, and these minerals are taken out just by simple digging or removing the upper layer of the earth. Yes, mining is further classified into two categories. These are open cast mining and shaft mining. Yes, open cast mining, this type or this process is used for taking out the minerals, means which are presented on the upper layer of the earth, and shaft mining, it is used for taking out the minerals which are presented or found deep inside the earth. So understood about the extraction of minerals? So there are three types of extractions of minerals: mining, drilling, and quarrying. Yes, now uses of minerals. Yes, friends, these minerals are very useful for us. Like they are used in many industries, and the hard minerals or hard like gems, stones, diamonds, these types of minerals are used in jewelry, and copper is used in everything like in making coins to pipes. Silicon, this mineral is used in computer industries, and aluminium, which is extracted from or bauxite, it is used in automobiles, airplanes, bottling industries, buildings, and kitchen cookware because it is very light in weight. So in this way, these minerals are very useful to us. Yes, Now we will have a discussion on power resources. Yes, friends, power resources means the resources which are used to generate energy. Okay, which are used to obtain or generate energy. And the power of resources, or means the sources of energy, are of two types: conventional sources and non-conventional sources. Yes, friends, conventional sources means conventional power sources are those that have been in use for a long time, like coal, petroleum, electricity, firewood, straw. And the non-conventional resources are those resources that have come into use recently, or means due to depleting conventional resources and growing awareness. Okay, and the conventional resources means they are not pollution free, means they create pollution, and non-conventional sources are pollution free. Okay, and the example of conventional sources already I have told you: coal, petroleum, electricity. And non-conventional like biogas, bioenergy, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, and energy from urban waste. This is there. And in conventional sources again means it is further classified into two categories: commercial and non-commercial. Commercial conventional sources are the sources for that we have to pay its price to buy it, and for non-commercial means we do not have any need to pay anything. So the commercial sources like coal, petroleum, these are very means common minerals or common power resources which are used to generate energy, and in which coal is known as the buried sunshine also, and petroleum is known as black gold. Yes, so why is coal called buried sunshine? Actually, coal is called buried sunshine because it is found buried under the earth, and it is an important source of energy as sunshine. That's why. And petroleum is known as that black gold. Yes, because it has a black appearance and it is valuable as gold. That's why it is called black gold. And yes, beta, firewood. Yes, firewood is very means you can say firewood is a conventional source of energy, and it is widely used for cooking and heating, and it is easily accessible and provides energy to a large number of peoples in the rural areas. Means in our country more than 50% of the energy used by rural people comes from firewood. Understood? Yes. Now we will have a discussion on non-conventional resources. Yes, friends, non-conventional resources like already we have discussed about the conventional sources: coal, petroleum, firewood, straw, dried end. These are the example of conventional resources. And non-conventional resources means these are renewable source of energy, means they can be renewed and they can be used again and again. And the main advantage of the non-conventional resources, they are pollution free resources. And example: bioenergy, solar energy, wind energy, and tidal energy. Yes. Now, solar energy. The first example is non-conventional sources is solar energy. Yes, friends, the energy which is produced from the sun rays or sun heat. Yes, in this method or in this process, the solar panels are set up, and in solar panel, many solar cells are there which are joined to each other, and the solar cells that they act as a semiconductor. They trap the sun heat and convert the sun heat into electricity, and this solar electricity or solar energy is used to run many appliances like now solar heater, solar cooker, and solar dryers are there which are based on the solar energy system. And the solar energy is also used for street lighting or traffic signals. So understood about the solar energy? Yes. Our next is their windmill. Yes, friends, wind means moving air. Moving air is known as wind. So the energy which is generated from moving air or wind is known as that wind energy, and for that it means it is an inexhaustible source of energy. And in this method windmills are set up in the fields, in the farms, which are known as wind farms, in which a number of windmills are set up, and these windmills are connected to the turbines. Okay, and the moving air rotate the blades of the turbines, and then turbines are connected to the generator, and this generator that convert this energy into electricity. And mainly the wind farms are found in Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, UK, USA and Spain. Yes friends, our next topic is there, that is nuclear energy. Yes, actually it is obtained through the process of fusion and fission of two radioactive elements like uranium and thorium. Yes, fission process refers to separation of atoms to get nuclear power, and fusion process refers to the combination of two or more atoms to obtain nuclear power. Means in both the processes some energy is released, and this energy is used, or this energy is converted into electricity. Understood? Yes, and the main places in the world, that is USA and Europe, and in India Tarapur in Maharashtra, Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu are nuclear powered station places. Next is there, that is tidal energy. Yes students, tidal energy, as we know that there is a continuous rise and fall in the seawater. Means this periodic rise and fall in the seawater is known as tides. And these tides are used to generate energy. And the energy which is generated from tides is known as tidal energy. Okay. And in this way, like some dams are set up at the narrow opening of the sea. Okay, and during high tide, energy of the tide is used to turn the turbines, and the turbines, means these turbines are installed in the dams, and which are connected to generator, and this generator convert this energy into electricity. So understood about the tidal energy? Yes. And in which high quality turbines are installed in dam where are connected to generator and produce electricity. Understood students? Yes. Next one is there, that is geothermal energy. Yes students, geothermal, geo means related to earth or thermal power, means the energy which is obtained from the earth heat, that is known as geothermal. Means geothermal energy is the source of energy which is developed from hot springs and geysers. Actually initially it was developed in Italy and later on in islands and the United States. And this geothermal energy is the useful conversion of natural heat from the interior of the earth to heat buildings to generate electricity. And if we talk about the India, actually India is not rich in geothermal energy, but some plants, small plants has been set up at Manikaram in Himachal Pradesh. Understood? Yes. Now our next topic is there, that is biogas. Yes friends, biogas. Actually in this method, the waste material, organic waste material like remaining parts of dead plants, animals, and the household waste also like fruits and vegetables peels, they are deposited in a tank and in which water is mixed. So after some times this organic waste is decomposed by the bacteria, and during this process one gas is released which is the mixture of methane and CO2, carbon dioxide, and it is an excellent fuel for cooking and lighting and produces huge amount of organic manure. Means कि after using this gas, the waste material slurry which is left after using it, it can be used as organic manure. So understood? Yes. Now the next topic is there, that is conservation of minerals. Yes friends, as we know that these resources are, some minerals or some resources are non-renewable resources and we cannot be renewed it, and those are renewable, they also it takes thousands of years for the formations and concentration of minerals, and the rate of formation K is very, or you can say much smaller than the rate at which humans consume these minerals. So we should use these minerals very carefully and wisely. Okay. And some methods of conservation of minerals, like by using 5Rs methods, by using them carefully and reducing the waste during mining, and create awareness among the people about careful and proper use of minerals by using alternative resources of non-renewable resources. And minerals are exhaustible natural resources which can't be processed again, so we should avoid their wastage and we should use them very wisely and carefully. Okay students, so in this way our today's lecture is completed, and as a homework you will get an assignment which you can see in your homework@quark.com. In homework column at the @quark.com site. Understood? Now we will have a discussion on homework solution of lecture 3. Yes, in which first question, how is hydroelectricity produced? Hydroelectricity is produced from the energy possessed by water falling from great heights. River water is stored in dams. When rainwater or river water falls from heights, it flows over turbine blades placed at the bottom of the dam, and the moving blades are connected to a generator which produces electricity from this energy, and this electricity is called hydroelectricity. Yes, next question gives some ways to save energy at home. This is very simple common question, like promoting the use of solar energy as much as possible, using biogas as cooking fuel, avoiding misuse of electricity, switching off fan and lights when not required, and using pressure cooker for cooking. Yes, now this is your NCERT question in which you have give the reason why environmental aspects must be carefully looked into before building huge dams. Yes, building huge dams causes destabilizations of the natural habitats of plants and wild animals living in the areas. So these environmental aspects should be looked into before building them. Next is there, most industries are concentrated around coal mines. This is the second part of this question. Yes, presence of coal mines around industries reduces the cost of transportation and also ensure easy availability of fuel. Quarrying can become a major environment concern. Why? Yes, after quarrying, pits are not covered, so they may cause environmental hazards. Now, next question. Differentiate between biogas and natural gas. Yes, friends, biogas is obtained from the decomposition of organic waste. It is renewable resource and it is non-conventional resources. And natural gas, that is obtained as a byproduct from the extractions of petroleum, and it is non-renewable resource. It is conventional resource. Understood? And natural gas is used as a raw material because it is mineral and a nature's gift. And natural gas is the gift of nature where man has no part to play in its manufacturing. And where on the other side, biogas is produced by man by utilizing shrubs, farm waste, animals and human means. So this is also the main difference. Natural gas is the gift of nature and biogas is produced by man. And biogas is commonly used in rural area and natural gas is mainly used in the urban area as domestic fuel. Biogas is not used as a raw material, but natural gas is used as raw material. So these are some differences between biogas and natural gas. So students, in this way our today's lecture is completed. Thank you.